Is it over? Are there finally no more islands? No more plant clones? Please, tell me it's over. Can I finally have my X-Men back? So after 4 long years of plant clones, it looks like Hickman's Krakoa X-Men arc is finally coming to an end. Now I don't want to get too excited because there's always a chance Marvel will keep some of this story arc, but I think we're finally getting to the beginning of the end of it in X-Men Hellfire Gala 2023. It's a larger issue at 80 pages, so it costs $9, and of course it has a gazillion variant covers. That said, the story's good. It's got some stellar moments, especially the end, but first you must endure the rise of Kamala Khan. Marvel really wants you to care that she died and was immediately brought back to life, but this book is aggressively dedicated to getting you to not care at all because there are no stakes in her resurrection. For 10 pages it's just the X-Men gushing over how Kamala is now a mutant. How do they explain how she suddenly became a mutant? Well, she always was. See, when she got hit with the Terrigen Mist, this apparently happened before her mutant powers manifested, so the mist suppressed them. Xavier tells her that they don't know what'll happen if she activates her mutant power, since the mist has a negative effect on mutants, usually killing them. But somehow Cerebro was still able to detect that Kamala was a latent mutant, so Xavier's been backing up her mind like with everyone else, and no one bothered to tell her. They also didn't bother to tell her family about the resurrection, so that's gonna be awkward. But not as awkward as the underlying reason why Xavier resurrected her. They needed a mascot. Their relations with humans is so bad that they want Kamala to come out as a mutant so, quote, it might help change the minds of those who fear us. You know what else might have helped with that? Not isolating yourself on a living island and threatening to kill anyone who messed with you. Someone even mentions that moment in the book. There are these two guys, Wynn and Dimitri, who are from Jonathan Hickman's upcoming God series, who show up to ask if someone, Magneto, actually said that mankind has new gods. And he did. He literally set this as a threat to the leaders of the world's top nations. Remember, Magneto's with the X-Men now. He's supposed to be one of the good guys, but he and Xavier and the others full-on threaten the human race. As you do. After this, all the Avengers at the gala get called to help Captain America because he's been attacked. Rogue also joins in since she's in the Avengers Reserve, and Jean Grey gets ready to announce the new team of X-Men, and it's genuinely the saddest, lamest X-Men team I've ever seen. You've got Synch, Talon, that's the older X-23, Cannonball, Prodigy, Dazzler, Frenzy, Jubilee, and the Juggernaut. Someone had the nerve on Twitter to praise this as finally having some diversity on the X-Men team, and they could not have been so far from right. The X-Men have been diverse for the last 50 years, but worse, baby, this ain't the one. No, you don't praise this team. This is bad. This is really bad. This is kill it with fire bad. And you know what? Ask and you shall receive. Nimrod pulls a Randy Orton, drops from orbit, and just RKOs them to death. Literally. Just obliterates everyone except for Juggernaut and Jean. Jean uses her power to neutralize the impact or would have killed everyone. Not that they really stand a chance because Nimrod is prepared. He goes right for Iceman and shanks him, melting him from the inside out. Jean tosses Juggernaut at him and they get knocked away from everyone, but in come Stark Sentinels. I assume the Sentinels were built with Tony's technology. I haven't been keeping up with the books, so I don't know anything about them, or this fight that they mentioned that the X-Men had with one of these things, and apparently just one of them almost killed the entire team. Now the X-Men have to face all of them. Who's behind this? Orchis, an anti-mutant group who's been plotting against the X-Men for years, and now is in league with the clone of Mr. Sinister who goes by the name Dr. Stasis. This is where all that setup done back in the early issues of Hickman's run finally pays off. Dr. Stasis meddled with the medicine the mutants agreed to give to the humans as a condition of being left alone. What he did was add in a backdoor kill switch that can be used at any time, and is currently being used by MODOK. Again, I haven't been reading the book, so I have no idea why he's here, but he does show off that he can cause humans extreme pain and make them fight each other. He also helped Orchis hack the Krakoan gateways, allowing for a full-on invasion force to attack. It also turns out that the attack on Captain America was just a ruse to get the Avengers off the island and divide the forces. As a plan, I love this. The way that this is just blowing up in the X-Men's face, and now they're going to have to deal with the aftermath of this, I love this. There are finally stakes. What I don't love about this, however, is that we're told this instead of shown it. Sure, it's possible that this was shown in issues I haven't read, but it still feels like there should be more in this issue. I would like to have seen some of the scenes they keep talking about. We do get some great action scenes though. They're rotating the artists throughout the issue, so it changes every few pages, but it seems everyone brought their A game. The X-Men fight back and start to get the upper hand, and finally Jean has had enough and tells everyone to stop. She uses her telekinesis to physically stop everyone and says that she's going to rewrite the minds of every Orchis agent, and it sounds like everyone on the planet, so that no one would ever have any hate towards mutants. Which, damn, that's not exactly a heroic thing to do. I understand why she's doing it, but it's still kinda shiesty. She doesn't get the chance to do it though because she forgot to watch out for them backstabbers. Moira comes out of a Krakoan gate, having used her knowledge about telepaths to mask herself from Jean, and then stabs this woman in the back with a knife covered in Blightswill, a substance that neutralizes mutant powers. Then Moira makes her next move. She's got Xavier pinned, and tells him to make the mutants stop or MODOK will kill all the humans, so Xavier does as he's told. He uses his telepathy to force all the mutants to go through the gates of Dr. Stasis' orders. If the mutants go off-world, presumably to Arakko on Mars, Orchis won't kill any more humans. But if one mutant sets foot on Earth again, they'll kill a human, multiplying by a factor of 10 with each new infraction. They're also going to pin the blame for the poison drugs on Xavier, making sure humans continue to hate mutants. One thing that was unclear to me is whether Xavier just had the mutants on Krakoa leave, or if he ordered all the mutants in the world to leave. I had to go back and read it a couple of times, and it seems like it's the first one, like with Jean, but it's vague enough that it could be read as affecting the whole world. Either way, it's still jacked up. While this is happening, a dying Jean Grey contacts Firestar and sets up a counterplan. She's going to embed Firestar with Orchis as a traitor, so Firestar can find out exactly what Orchis has been doing. She won't be alone. Some of the mutants have learned the Red Triangle Protocol, a technique Xavier created to combat Emma Frost back when she was part of the Hellfire Club. It provides 3 dimensions of protection against a telepathic attack, and the keyword or trigger is the word resist, spelled in a triangle. Several X-Men are able to resist Xavier's call as a result, but Jean warns Firestar that the others will consider her a traitor, so she'll just have to hunker down, tell them the truth, and hope they believe her. Jean's final words and thoughts go to a captured Cyclops. I loved you. Past tense. That's good. That's good writing. And this page with Xavier in agony over what he's doing, this is the best page of the issue. There's another really good one, but for composition and impact, yeah, this is the one. This tells you everything you need to know about where this story seems to be going. Hopefully they can stick the landing. Meanwhile, more mutants manage to resist. Apparently Xavier wasn't controlling Exodus, but just told him to make sure that the 5, those who resurrect the other mutants, were kept safe, so he shoves them through a gateway to who knows where. Mystique seems to resist Xavier outright, not from the Red Triangle Protocol training, just with brute force, so he pushes harder, but instead of controlling Mystique, the woman decides to take a leap. But there's no body, so she probably survived the fall. Those who manage to activate the Red Triangle Protocol finally wake up and get one of the mutants to teleport them all to safety. Moira manages to knife one guy and an Orchis agent shoots the teleporter, but she still gets away. They end up in the basement of the Hellfire Club where Emma has set up several gates. Unfortunately, when they try to walk through them, none of them work. Back on Krakoa, the ambassador of Ireland demands to be let go, and accidentally mentions that Orchis already released a press release saying there were no human survivors from the gala, so Dr. Stasis has Orchis kill them. Moira then goes to kill Xavier and lays out everything that's been wrong about this run of the X-Men as her reason for wanting to kill him. But before she can, Rogue comes in for the save, literally flying through Moira. It looks like Moira's body is now robotic, which is weird because in Inferno, which I think is the last time she's been seen, she lost the arm but got that arm replaced by Warlock. However, Sinister was cloning her, and maybe something else happened in the issues I haven't read. All I'm saying is that it's possible that this isn't the real Moira, but a clone. Either way, Rogue flies Xavier to safety, but he tells her to take him back to the island because all the mutants are gone. It's not that they're not on Earth, it's that he can't sense them at all. They're dead. 250,000 mutants on Krakoa. Dead. And this just devastates him. And that's the end. That's where you would end this book, with this face and this splash page. But it's too good. Too good of an ending. They've got you too emotionally connected and finally caring about the X-Men again, so of course they tack on this epilogue where Kitty Pryde, who normally can't use her Krakoan gates, leans on one and falls out in the middle of Israel. Honestly, just skip those pages. Just read up to Xavier losing it on the beach. I have to say this is the best new X-Men story I've read in a while. I'm intrigued. I'm still skeptical because I remember how this Hickman run fell apart the moment he wasn't guiding things, and the people who took over then are the people plotting this story now. But I am intrigued. I'm gonna stick around, but I ain't buying any other $9 books. That's a little too much. Other than that, it's a good start. Can they stick the landing? I have no idea. I hope they do and it doesn't go off the rails because I really like some new and good X-Men stories. But what do I know? I'm just some guy.